Hey everyone, and welcome. So if you're working your way through the SIP's L3M2 module, you know performance is a huge deal. Today, we're going to jump straight into Learning Outcome 4. We're going to break down exactly how you can measure and, more importantly, improve your team's value in a way that's super clear and practical. Ready? Let's get into it.
All right, let's kick things off with a big question, one that pretty much every professional asks themselves. How do you actually show that you're doing a great job? It's not just about pinching pennies and saving costs. It's about the quality of what you do and making sure the people you serve are genuinely happy. Proving your value, it's absolutely crucial for your career and for your whole team's reputation. And you know what? That really brings us to the heart of the matter. When you boil it all down, performance and procurement, it's all about customer service. Seriously, this is the bedrock of your team's value. It's the secret sauce that can transform you from just an operational team to a real strategic partner for the entire business. Now, when we say customer service, what are we really talking about? Well, it covers the whole shebang, the support you give before, during, and even after a purchase. But here's the interesting twist for us in procurement. That word customer has two meanings. It's the person at the very end who uses the final product, sure, but it's also your colleagues inside the organization who rely on you every single day. And let's be real. Getting customer service right isn't just a nice to have, it's absolutely essential. It has a direct line to retaining business, and it's what builds your team's reputation from the ground up. I mean, fantastic service makes you the trusted go-to resource that everyone wants on their side. Okay, so to deliver that amazing service, you've got to know who you're actually serving, right? So let's dive into how to pinpoint your key stakeholders, both the folks inside your organization and those on the outside. We can basically split our stakeholders into two main camps. Over on the left, you've got your internal partners. These are your colleagues, your managers, the people you see every day. And on the right, you have your external partners. Think of your suppliers, the end users, and the market as a whole. So let's get a little more specific. Who are these internal customers? Well, think about the engineer who needs a critical component, like yesterday, or the team on the factory floor who relies on the safety gear you sourced. And yep, it's also your manager, who's counting on you to bring fresh, innovative ideas to the table. They're all your partners. Now, let's flip the coin and look outside the building. Your external customers are, in many ways, the ultimate judges of your work. They're the people who actually use your company's final product or get its service. The quality of what you procure has a real, tangible impact on their experience. Okay, so we know who we're serving, but how do we know if we're actually doing a good job in their eyes? It's time to open up the professional toolkit and look at some really powerful ways to measure satisfaction. First up, the most direct method there is. Just talk to people. Setting up regular, honest review conversations with your stakeholders is priceless. Honestly, there is no substitute for a real chat to figure out how they're feeling and what their true satisfaction level is. Next, let the numbers do some of the talking. If your internal departments keep coming to you for their needs, and if external customers keep placing orders, that's a pretty strong signal, right? Repeat business is basically a massive vote of confidence in what you're doing.
This one's a little less about numbers and more about the vibe. Are your relationships with stakeholders just transactional, like a vending machine? Or are they truly collaborative? When you're working together towards a common goal, that's a huge sign of a healthy, successful partnership.
For a more structured approach, you can't go wrong with surveys. Using questionnaires lets you gather consistent, hard data from a whole range of people. It's perfect for tracking how satisfaction changes over time and for zeroing in on areas that need a little more love.
Loyalty is a massive tell. Think about it. If an internal department could go somewhere else, but they always choose to work with you, that speaks volumes. It shows they're not just content with your service, they actually trust you.
And finally, in today's world, you've got to listen to the public conversation. Social media can be an absolute goldmine of raw, unfiltered feedback. Keeping an eye on these platforms gives you a really honest peek into how your organization is actually perceived out there in the wild.
Now, collecting all this data is fantastic, but it's only half the story. The real magic happens when you actually use it. So, let's talk about how you can take all that amazing feedback and shape it into a solid action plan for improvement. Believe it or not, your whole action plan can be built by answering just 4 simple but really powerful questions. First, what's the current state? You gotta know where you're starting from. Second, what's the desired state? That's your goal. Third, when do we want to achieve it? You need a deadline. And finally, number 4, How are we planning to get there? That's your roadmap.
But, you know, just having a plan isn't quite enough. To make sure that how is actually going to work, we need to add one more critical layer. We have to make sure our objectives are smart.
I mean, think about it. A vague goal like improve customer service, what does that even mean? It's impossible to act on. To really bring a plan to life, your objectives must be SMART. That's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. This framework is what turns a wish into a real, workable project.
So how do you finalize it? You break it down. You take that big, awesome, smart objective and you slice it up into specific, individual tasks you need to do to get there. Then you prioritize those tasks, what comes first, and figure out exactly how you're going to get it all done. Simple, clear, and ready to roll.
This quote from Carly Fiorina just nails the whole process we've walked through. You start by gathering feedback. That's your data. You organize it and analyze it, and that turns it into information. And then, when you use that information to build a smart, strategic plan, that, my friends, is true insight.
And that's a wrap. I'll leave you with a little challenge. Based on everything we've just covered, what's the very first thing you would measure in your own organization to kickstart this whole journey of improving customer satisfaction? Give it some thought. Thanks so much for tuning in.